Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So, we look for thinkers, we look for doers, we look for self leaders who are ready to live with intention. That's who our audience is. That's who watches our podcast. I hope I just described you. If I did, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to do an episode that all of us struggle with at some point in our lives. Some of us have gotten better at it than others, but we all struggle with it at every point of our life. So, my question to you to start off is, are you spending more energy thinking about your past than you are about your future? Because if you are, you need to listen to this whole episode because you're wasting your time. We've got to learn to let go of what happened in the past and focus on what we have control over, which is right now, can impact our future. So, one way to think about it, you can't drive your car forward if you're constantly looking in your rearview mirror. You're going to get in an accident, you're going to lose your way, you're going to go off course. The same thing is true for your life. You've got to learn from your mistakes, but you've got to push forward and you've got to live forward. And that's what our episode today is about. We're going to give you 5 science backed, like we always do. We try to include empirical evidence to show that this just is not our opinion. There's a lot of psychological evidence gathered on these topics that we talk about, and we try to share that with you to show you that doctors, that therapists, that healers who do this for a living say the same things. And you can take control of this. You have control of this. You just have to choose to take control of it, right? So, I'm not touchy-feely in any way. This isn't a touchy-feely podcast. It's a podcast about taking responsibility for our lives. That's what we do. That's why you're listening. That's what our guests talk about over and over again when they share difficult things that have happened in their lives and what they've learned from them and how they've built great lives going forward in spite of, sometimes because of, really difficult things that they've experienced in their life. So, let's just jump into it now. Here's the 5 reasons from our perspective that you've got to learn to let go of the past. So, reason number 1, this is pretty straightforward. The past already happened. There's no changing it. Your energy isn't. It doesn't need to be fixed on the past. Your energy should be spent on what's going to happen in the future, right? That's what you have control over. And if you waste, and I mean waste, if you waste your time and energy thinking about and obsessing about things that have already happened, you're not going to have the energy necessary to push your life forward in the direction you want it to go. All right? Psychologists call this rumination. So a ruminant is an animal like a cow that partially digests food and then chews it over and over again, partially digests it, chews it over and over again. That's what ruminant is. That's what ruminate means. It means you're chewing on it over and over and over. You mentally replay these things over and over again in your head. They keep you up at night. You obsess about them. You can't stop thinking about them. The University of Illinois did a study and found that this kind of repetitive thinking is a major predictor of both depression and anxiety. So, if you want to feel bad, if you want to get stuck in a rut, if you want to be mired in poor emotions, keep doing it. I don't think that's what you want. Most of us don't want that. So we've got to figure out a way to stop obsessing about our past. Think about it like your phone battery, right? If you continuously play a game or scroll social media or do whatever, and your phone doesn't recharge, the battery's low, it doesn't work. You work the same way as your phone. So I knew a guy that was an all-state athlete, lost a championship game on a last-minute error, all right? So you guys know I played baseball, true story. Years later, he's still replaying it like it just happened, obsessing about it. Stopped competing, stopped pushing, lost his confidence, and wound up in jail. So not a great place to be. And do you really want to let one moment in time? I mean, it's a fucking game, right? Yes, it's a big deal. I loved my experiences playing baseball, and I learned a ton from my experiences playing baseball. And I had really high moments and I had really low moments. I was the hero in some games and I was the GOAT in some games. When you were a closer, which is what I did the last 2 years I played, sometimes it goes really well and everybody loves you, and sometimes it doesn't go really well and you walk to the bus all by yourself. So you've got to learn to put those things behind you. Great. How do you do that, you ask? I'm glad that you asked. Next time your brain pulls up a past failure, you find yourself obsessing about it, stop and ask yourself, what do I have control over right now? Just ask yourself that question. Say it out loud if it's helpful. What do I have control over right now? And then immediately redirect your focus from the obsessive thought to the thing you have control over. Even something simple like a workout, your next set of weights that you're going to lift, the next 50 yards that you're going to run, the next line you're going to write in whatever project you're working on. Make a phone call. Write down your goals for the week. You can do lots of things that you have control over right now to shift your brain away from this obsessive thinking. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Most people don't run out of time, they actually run out of energy. Because think about it. You have time to watch Netflix every day, you have time to talk on the phone every day, you have time to do whatever it is you do to waste time every day. You've got the time. You get the same 24 hours that all of us get. We run out of energy. So don't waste your energy thinking about things that have already happened that you can't change. It's really silly. It's really unproductive. Depression, anxiety, right? Best predictor of depression and anxiety is focusing on the past. Got to quit doing it. All right? Now, reason number 2, your identity is not your mistakes. You are not the sum of your worst moments. But if you keep obsessing over them, you will start to believe that. There's a line in Ted Lasso, and I love the show Ted Lasso. If you've never watched it, I highly recommend it. It's got a really great message, and they just really did a great job with that show. But there's a line in that show where there's a character who's done something that's really shitty, and the other characters are impacted by it, and one of the characters wants to hold a grudge. And Ted Lasso says to him, I hope that either all of us or none of us are either judged by our worst moments or given grace when we get a second chance. So we're either all going to be judged by our worst moments and then we're all scumbags, or we can forgive and we can forgive ourselves and we can move forward. And it's such a powerful line. I love it. I remembered it the first time I watched it. I've watched that series multiple times because I love it so much. And that's how you got to think. Like, it happened. I'm not the sum of that. That's not all I am. That's not just me. Those bad things that have happened or bad decisions that I've made. So there's a thing called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity means your brain can literally rewire itself. So it doesn't have to work the way it does now. You can rewire it to work differently. And you can rewire it based on what you do now, not what happened to you yesterday. Dr. Norman Doidge's research confirms that your brain can form new connections when you take new actions, meaning you're never stuck where you are. If you change how you act going forward, you can change your brain to work differently. So here's an example that hits close to home for lots of people. Let's say that you in a past relationship have cheated on your partner, okay? You regret it, you change, but you still carry that with you and you still feel guilty about it years later. You refuse to let go, you refuse to get close to someone else, you hold it there, and it impacts your future relationships. It's unnecessary. Got it. You made a mistake. It happens. Not the best thing in the world. Totally get it. I've been in a marriage for 33 years. My wife and I have been totally faithful to each other. We will continue to be totally faithful to each other. But things happen. It's not my place to judge people. It's not my place to tell you that you're a dirtbag because you wound up in that situation. It is what it is. But if you grow from it and you become a different person, you've got to allow yourself to become that different person. And you've got to put that person out in the world so you can still live your life in a meaningful, purposeful, productive way. So when you get stuck on that negative, one thing you can do, take an action step to get yourself out of that mental spot, is to write down 3 positive traits about yourself and 3 positive things that you've developed since the mistake that you're hung up on. Right? So, I always talk about myself. I'm not judgmental. I've never been judgmental. I don't hold grudges. I think those are positive attributes that I have. And I've always had them, and they've gotten stronger as I've gotten older because I've seen the value of those benefits. So I can also be a real prick. Like, anyone that knows me or has known me for a long time knows that if there's an asshole contest, it's good money to bet on me because I can win the asshole contest. Not good or bad. It just is. I've got that in me. I don't like it when I allow that to happen sometimes, and I do allow it to happen sometimes. And make no mistake, it's a choice. It's a choice when I behave that way. I can choose to do it and I can choose not to do it. There's times where I let it get me, and that's on me. It's up to me. But that's not all I am. I've got a lot of positive attributes too. So I've got to look at myself as a total person and not just the shitty behavior that happens sometimes, right? And you can make your new identity what you want it to be going forward. You can't change the past, but you can rewire your brain by taking new actions and make yourself into a different person. So focus on that. When you get to the negative, write down 3 things that are good about you, especially 3 things that have happened or are good about you since whatever mistake it is, or problem it is, or event it is that you're obsessing about. Okay? Reason 3, your obsession with the past is blocking your future growth. Plain and simple. It doesn't just keep you stuck, it blocks you from moving forward. It blocks good things from coming to you. There's researchers at Harvard, Grant and Schwartz, and they found that overthinking actually kills your ability to make decisions and take smart risks. So, while you're fixated on what went wrong last time, the future self that could be there, that could be enjoying life, that could be growing, that could be experiencing new things, is dying on the vine because they don't have any momentum. You're killing your future by obsessing about your past. It's really silly when you stop and think about it that way. So let's take entrepreneurs, right? Because entrepreneurs know how this works all the time. You start a business and it fails. And by the way, every business fails eventually. Amazon at some point will not exist. I don't know when it'll happen. Walmart at some point will not exist. I don't know when it'll happen. But I will guarantee you, Hudson's Bay was a 400-year-old company that started in Canada, and it just recently closed its doors after 400 years. That's a hell of a run, but it's closed now. Nothing lasts forever. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be prepared for that, because if you hold on to the failure of the business when it happens, and you can't put yourself in situations to take risks going forward, you're not going to be successful going forward, right? The fear is going to keep you where you're at, and it's going to doom you to a life of mediocrity, and that's not what you want. So you can't allow the past to stop you from moving towards the future, and it will if you let it. So we've got to learn to stop doing that. So how do we do that? Guess what? We take action. It doesn't need to be huge action. It can be small action, but it needs to be something you're a little bit afraid of doing, and you got to do it anyways, right? Apply for a job. Think about changing careers. Launch a blog. Start a Facebook page. Pitch an idea to somebody. Send a message to someone that you've wanted to talk to, or maybe you like someone. Maybe you're single and you like someone and you want to take a shot at the guy or gal that you have interest in. Do it. Just do it. Whatever happens, happens. But that forward momentum is going to dissolve your fear. It's going to stop you from thinking about the past, and it's going to give you confidence to move forward. So you got to take your shots. You got to do the hard swallow. You got to set your feet, and you got to move forward. Okay? Reason number 4, emotional replays reinforce whatever trauma it is that you're trying to recover from. So by reliving it over and over and over again in your mind, you're making it worse. You're keeping it fresh. You're picking the scab off the wound every day so that it can't heal. When you constantly relive painful memories, you're not healing. You're making it worse. You're deepening the wound. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, he's the author of a book called The Body Keeps the Score, explained that trauma isn't just in your head. It's not just a mental thing. It lives in your body. It affects your physiology. Every time you mentally re-experience a painful event, your nervous system reacts as if it's happening again. You're doing it to yourself all over again every time you replay it in your head. So, let's say your close friend betrays you. Then you replay that situation over and over and over again in your head, and now you develop into a person that can't trust anyone because one person was shitty to you. And I get it. It sucks when it happens. I'm not saying it's not. But you can't judge all of humanity because one person did you dirty. That's not how it works. It's not good. New relationships are going to feel risky. It's going to be more difficult to trust people. Totally got it. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I'm not even saying that's wrong. What I am saying is you can't allow your world to shrink because one person fucked you over. Like, that's not going to work. Don't let that person hijack your future because of what happened in the past. So, there's a technique called the cognitive stop. When a painful memory comes up or you're reliving something that's nasty that you don't want to relive, Literally say the word stop out loud. Stop. Then picture something calm, waves crashing on the ocean, the breeze blowing through the trees, yourself out for a walk with your partner, holding hands and smiling at each other. Picture that in your head. Whatever it is that works for you, doesn't matter what it is, say the word stop, find a peaceful, useful image that's going to help you mentally, and focus on that. You're not suppressing things. You're not denying that things happened. You're choosing to compartmentalize it and move forward with your life. You're redirecting your focus towards the future and good instead of reliving the bad and being stuck there. Okay? Cognitive stop. Say the word stop out loud. Think of an image that's positive to you. Focus on that and focus your energy on things you have control over right now. Okay? Now, reason number 5, you cannot build confidence when you're looking backward, plain and simple. Confidence doesn't come from never failing. That's false. And I can speak very well on this one because I have failed at a lot of stuff. I've also been successful at a lot of stuff. But make no mistake about it, there is no one who has just followed this linear path to prosperity. Not how it works at all. Confidence comes from overcoming those obstacles and finding success in spite of them or after them. That's how you build confidence. You can't do that if you're looking back and you're obsessing over your mistakes, because you're not going to get to take the reps that you need going forward to build the confidence you need to build the life that you want. Albert Bandura has a theory on self-efficacy, and it shows that we build confidence through mastery experiences. Real world wins that prove you can do hard things. The only way to do that is to actually do things, okay? But guess what? You can't master anything if you're frozen and fearful of your past. You just can't do it. So you've got to learn to let it go. So let's just take this for example, because this is a story a lot of people can relate to. You drop out of college because you say you're not smart. It's not for me. The education system's not for me. I can't get it. So you apply that same thought process to the rest of your life. You avoid challenging jobs because you're not smart enough to figure things out. You might have great skills and abilities in a business, but because you've got this negative thought process, because you're stuck in the past and allowing past things to continue to hold you back, you're not going to try. You're not going to apply yourself. You're not going to try to grow because you're stuck on dropping out of college. I should have dropped out of college. Well, you did. Now you got to move forward. It is what it is. So how do you combat this? One way to do it is to literally start a win log. Start writing down the wins that you experience every day. Write down one thing you handled well, one thing you got better at, one thing that you tried that went well for you or better than expected, right? Doesn't matter how small it is. It could be a really good conversation with somebody. It could be a great workout that you had. It could be a discussion that was difficult that you didn't avoid that went well and you got to the other side of. Write those things down and start stacking up those wins. If you stack up those wins, you'll feel your confidence grow. You'll continue to move forward. You'll continue to take smart risks, and you'll continue to improve your life. So win log, it's a great way to go. All right. So look, the past is always there. It's not going to go away. What has happened has happened. You can't unring the bell. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Call it what you will. The past has happened. It is what it is. But you don't have to let it live in your head all the time. It's up to you. That's a choice you're making. You can make a different choice, and we're encouraging you to make that different choice. You don't owe it to yourself to be stuck there. You owe it to yourself to move forward in life, to develop confidence, to build the life that you want, to learn from those experiences and apply those learnings to future endeavors so you can become a better person, right? You want to direct your energy and focus and effort on good things that are happening now or could happen now so you can build a better future for yourself. You want to unchain your future from your past, and you'll be shocked at how far you can go when you do that. So take these lessons, leave the baggage behind you, and get your ass moving. It's that simple. Make the decision that you're going to implement these changes in your life. You're going to stop obsessing over the past. You're going to focus on now. You're going to focus on the future that you have control over, and you're going to build the life that you want. The road ahead of you is wide open. You just have to take the steps to travel the path. It's up to you. Okay? All right, guys. So James puts it up over here every day. Don't forget to head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our episodes are available there. Links to all our social media accounts are there. We publish a newsletter every weekday that you can subscribe to there. And it's great if you can like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. It's super helpful for us. Podcast is really doing well. We got tons of great people coming on and sharing their experiences and sharing how they manage their mindset to build a really successful life. And remember, success is measured in a lot of different ways. It's not just financial. It's about great relationships. It's about great experiences. It's about having great mental health. It's about having great physical health. It's about being happy and fulfilled and a productive member of society. There's a lot more to that than just how much money you got in the bank. Nothing wrong with having money in the bank. We get that too. But there's lots of ways to define success. So think about that when you're putting together the life that you want. All right, guys. Great stuff on the episodes. We got more great guests coming up. You don't want to miss what they have to say. You don't want to miss the lessons that they're able to share with us. So make sure you catch the next episode. I will see you there.